Coming up on TekThing, Dell's XPS 27 all-in-one. We got a review. Hey, encrypted online storage, keep your data safe, and it doesn't have to be hard. Can a smart sleep mask really help you sleep? All that and more coming up on TekThing. Thank you, patrons. Without your support via patreon.com/TekThing, we wouldn't be able to make TekThing for you each and every week. Join the crew that makes it possible at patreon.com/TekThing.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we have something useful in every single show.
Sometimes it's so useful, you will weep with joy.
Guess what I did this weekend?
Did you finally do the DIY fireworks and light your neighbor's house on fire like you promised me you would?
No, but I did talk to one of my hacker friends about trying to light my house on fire with a bash script plugged into the Wemo device that plugs into one of my lights. I don't know, it was another thing. But no, I booked a trip to Japan for November, so I'll be going there and I'll potentially have a meetup. So super excited about that. Yay!
Going back to Japan.
So excited. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today. It's my Doki Doki shirt.
I'm going camping next week.
Ooh,
yeah.
Cool.
It's exciting. Camp Mather, some friends of ours in San Francisco, they do a lottery, and we got an invite to Camp Mather.
Oh, yes, nice.
So it's like 370 acres up near Yosemite.
Wow.
It's either going to be amazing, or it's going to like being the only sober guy on a cruise ship, which I did not enjoy.
Well, I think it sounds awesome.
I'm excited. Trees and children.
Yay.
And bows and arrows.
BT Dubs, hit up hackercrosstheplanet.com. We are having a meetup for Hack 5 during DEF CON next week as well.
I will not be at DEF CON.
No.
Which makes me sad.
But you'll be camping, so that's cool. On to greater things.
Or different things.
Different things, including technology.
This is a tech show, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So it used to be that buying all-in-ones meant that you got a compact, stylish PC, but you were compromising on performance. And that seemed to be the thing that we were constantly seeing. Right. Mostly because they were running laptop motherboards with power-sipping CPUs. Top-of-the-line desktop performance just was not there.
Nope.
Does Dell's new XPS 27 fit into the pretty but slow tradition?
Oh my goodness. I was excited, right?
Yeah.
Because there were promises made to me about the performance of Dell's XPS 27 all-in-one. It is definitely pretty if you're into sort of the aluminum and shiny black thing.
I like shiny.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Aluminum. Here's an unprecedented fourth way of saying aluminum. But it's not slow. Matter of fact, it renders a video and handbrake about 6.5% faster than the Core i7-6700 desktop I built at the tail end of 2015 or early 2016.
Cool.
Yeah, packs a gorgeous 27-inch 4K monitor, up to 64 gigabytes of RAM.
Whoa.
Whoa. And an AMD RX 570 GPU. That
Nice.
part's optional.
Cool.
So before anybody starts rage posting in the comments, you're looking at gaming footage right now. No, I do not want anything less than a GTX 1080 for gaming with a 4K monitor. Okay, that said, you can definitely play games on 4K with a 570. So when I first fired up Rocket League on the XPS 2700, the graphics were set to 1920 by 1440.
Oh.
4x3 with black bars on a 16 by 9, 3840 by 2160 monitor.
Oh, ouch, that's awkward.
Yeah, it's awkward. Not cool if you're a gamer, but frankly, if you're looking for a work desktop that can use for occasional gaming breaks, de-stressing, if you will, it definitely works. I reset Rocket League to 2048 by 1152, which filled the monitor out, and frankly, it worked. And it worked heaps better than trying to run 3D games on inboard Intel HD graphics, the ones that are in the CPU. Frankly, it is the best gaming experience I've had in an all-in-one.
Okay.
And if you're not editing 4K video 8 hours a day, 8 days a week, there's more than enough graphics power.
So what about storage on this thing?
The storage options are interesting.
Okay.
So our test unit came with a 512 gigabyte PCI Express SSD.
All right.
Most models that they offer, like the pre-configured options, they come with a 32 gigabyte M.2 SATA SSD cache, and then a 1 or 2 terabyte 5400 RPM hard drive.
So would that be for the operating system then?
Well, yeah, it's definitely going to speed up your operating system and your most frequently used applications.
Yeah.
But if you constantly rewrite large files, it's not going to be nearly as fast as an SSD. On the upside, there are two 2.5-inch drive slots inside this machine, along with an M.2 slot if you want to upgrade.
Yes.
So when we not only have desktop level GPU performance,
Yeah.
but we also have an upgrade path for storage.
I like that.
What she said.
Storage is awesome.
Our test model came with the optional touch screen and articulating stand, so you can fold it nearly flat, and that adds $400 to the price.
Whew.
Frankly, I'd probably skip it if I was buying it for myself, but it's an option if you love getting your fingers on the screen, and I know some of you do. Screen's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks
I
gorgeous.
mean, it's a Dell. They don't skimp on the monitors.
They really don't.
You can calibrate it. I wish you could adjust it higher.
Yeah.
But I
definitely.
also have a fairly high chair to desk ratio, and I want everything to be higher than
Yeah.
it is. It doesn't have as much up adjustment as a typical Dell monitor.
I'm glad that you can tilt it though.
Yes, yeah, you can, and I gotta admit, like tilting it, was not bad. It
Yeah.
worked, but I still want it up higher.
So Dell was talking a ton about the speakers. What about those?
They are proud of the speakers.
Really?
Oh my goodness. So Dell put a bunch of engineering prowess. They spent a lot of time designing the speakers on this. They brought in like Grammy Award winners. It's basically a 100-watt sound bar built into the bottom of the monitor with 10 elements, 2 tweeters, 4 full-range drivers, 2 full-range drivers that point down at the desktop, and a couple of passive radiators on the back to reinforce the base.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, and I think dang is correct, right? It was really impressive sound stagings on recordings that have it, like Amber Rhubar's Sessions from the 13 Ward, one of my favorite test tracks. Really, really nice detail on the highs and Coltrane's I Love Supreme.
Okay.
Almost too much in the highs because you've got those 2 downward firing speakers, which in the case of my desktop...
It'll bounce back at you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I have a Formica desktop, so
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, lots of trebly crispiness. When I get my audio geek hat on, I want to know where the bass is, because it pretty much drops off a cliff below 60 or 70 hertz.
Aww.
Yeah, so kick drums and say the thud, like I was watching Kung Fu Panda, and there's like the pandas throwing around.
Oh, of course, yeah, there's tons of bass in that movie.
Exactly, and the impact just wasn't there because there's just not much low end. For casual listening while you're working, fantastic.
Cool.
Like most onboard speakers in all-in-ones or laptops are atrocious. These were really, really sweet. I was really, really impressed. But again, I want more bass.
Yeah.
Of course, I also have 2 B&W 601 speakers, which are this big, powered by an amplifier on my desktop, so I might be a little hard on the grading of audio.
That's true, he does. It's the audiophile setup.
I'm a nerd. I'm an audio nerd. So there's a power button on the side, a USB 3.0 port.
Okay.
And then on the opposite side, there's, at the bottom of the monitor, there's an SD card slot and a headphone jack.
Nice.
Which, actually are a nice touch. I also love there's a ton of ports on the back. 4 USB 3.0, although one of those is used by the adapter for the wireless keyboard and mouse.
Of course.
HDMI out, DisplayPort 1.2, a couple of Thunderbolt Type 3 jacks, and then a gigabit Ethernet and an audio out jack on the back.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah.
Cool, so you can plug in external speakers or something like that if you wanted to?
You can get your crazy on. You can connect, you can connect all of the things, and like I mentioned earlier, there are internal expansion options.
Nice.
A pair of 2.5-inch drive slots and an M.2 PCIe by 4 SSD slots.
Yay!
4 DIMM slots with support for up to 64 gigabytes of memory. Wow. The keyboard is nothing to write home about if you use mechanical keyboards, but it's a nice membrane keyboard.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen an all-in-one come with a amazing keyboard. I've always chosen like, oh, hey, if a family member buys one, I'm like, just replace the keyboard.
And we're also using like, we've got super cool, awesome mechanical keyboards.
That's true.
And the longer, I used the XPS 27 for like a week, the longer I used it, the less I thought, where's my real keyboard with its clacky noises?
Yeah.
So there's a webcam, of course. It includes a Hello-compliant infrared facial recognition camera. Oh. But we got to talk about one thing I think is a definite flaw, and we should pull back to the two-shot because, like the XPS 13, the webcam is at the bottom of the monitor.
Man.
Nose cam, not my favorite. That said, this is the first all-in-one I've tested that didn't have me looking over my shoulder at my real desktop all during the time I was testing with it or using it. Yeah, actually, it's great. Unless you're a mad power user that sucks down all the clock cycles and cores for 10 hours a day, 8 days a week, there's more than enough here to do the job.
Sweet.
Yeah, the XPS 27 starts at $1,550 with a Core i5-7400, 8 gigs of RAM, and of course
Not
that 4K
bad for the
monitor.
specs.
No. And 1 terabyte hard drive and that 32 gigabyte caching SSD.
Right, yeah.
The version they sent to us, the top of the line model, well, it hits $2,800 with a Core i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 4K touchscreen, and a 512 gigabyte SSD.
Man, I feel like that 4K touchscreen just racks up that price.
$400.
Yeah.
Go into the touch screen.
$400.
It's basically the same screen, but the touch screen with the articulating monitor adds $400 to the price.
Yeah.
So if you get rid of the touch screen, you save yourself $400.
You save some bucks on that.
You do.
Cool.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Just Dell, can we talk about putting the webcam at the top?
That bezel, man. They like the clean bezel.
Just a little more bezel at the top. Just get away from the nostril cam. Just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, in a death-defying demonstration of the third eye in total. Well, no, I'm not going to let you throw knives at me with that thing. There will be no hatchet tossing while blindfolded today on TekThing.
No, there will not.
Is that the Illumy Smart Sleep Mask?
It is, yes. This is the Illumy Smart Sleep Mask. You can get it online for $149.99. Basically, I wore this when I went to Australia to offset that jet lag because it was hours behind what I'm used to, and I was taking a 14-hour flight. It was going to suck. So this was going to help me offset that time difference. Basically, I have a terrible time sleeping while I'm traveling, so I figured it was worth it to try it out to see what happens. The mask uses natural light cues to help you get to sleep and then to slowly wake up in the morning. That's how it works. So over time, this should help you maintain a healthier sleep cycle since it kind of retrains your body into thinking that you're falling asleep when the sun sets, hence the red lights, and then waking up when the sun is rising. So it uses red tones to put you to sleep and then blue tones to wake you up. And the blue tones and the red tones are the same kind of cues that NASA astronauts also use whenever they are in outer space to keep them on a schedule.
So there's science here.
There is a lot of science behind this. There's a lot of things backing this up. So I was like, cool, this should work. So charging this thing takes about 2 hours and it lasts up to 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to charge it for 2 weeks, which is great if you're traveling overseas. It also charges over micro USB, so that means you can just bring any micro USB cable and charge it up, which is super great. A red light will blink and light up whenever you're charging it, and when it's done, it should dim or it should turn off. So you'll know whenever it's done charging. It also syncs over micro USB as well, but for that case, it's actually a micro USB to headphone jack that you will use with your phone. So it syncs over a headphone jack. Yeah, it's interesting. So everything that you're going to do with this thing is set up through the mobile app, and I'll show you some pictures on the screen of that. You basically choose your home time, or if you are traveling, you choose your away time so that it knows if you set an alarm, what time it also needs to wake you up in the morning.
Or if you're one of those crazy people that tries to keep on your regular schedule when you're like 7 times.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can totally set that up as a home time in that occasion. So you choose an alarm time, and then whether or not you want it to chime an alarm along with the lights for either sunset and sunrise. So sunset and sunrise lighting can be adjusted in 10-minute intervals, anything between off to 10 minutes to 20, 30, all the way up to 60 minutes. And lastly, sleep enhance is another option in the app, and this creates a little light pulsing effect to the sunrise and sunset, which wakes you up or puts you to sleep. Depending.
Blink,
yeah, it kind of pulses in and out, and it's supposed to help enhance your sleep. I didn't like having the pulsing effect on. I thought it was kind of distracting, so I ended up turning that off.
I think you either find it really soothing or really irritating with nothing in between.
Yeah, exactly. So some people might really enjoy it. So to sync, you simply plug your phone into the mask, and then you hit sync, and it will chime and light up green telling you that it has been completed. I did find out the hard way that if you have a case on your phone, you should probably take that off because the headphone jack won't necessarily sit directly flush inside of your headphone port if you don't do that. You can also sync via the Illumy website via a computer as well. I didn't have to do that because I didn't have any problems setting it up with my phone. So to go to sleep, all you have to do is press that little sleep button, which is on the front. And it simply looks like a little Z's with the little moon next to it. So very easy to do. So you hit that. And then if you have the red lights turned on the back, which you can see now, that is going to tell you that you're ready to put it on, and then you can just wait for yourself to go to sleep. And the red lights are supposed to naturally help you do that. So once you put it on, you got those nice red lights, and over time, those are going to fade to black. You'll also notice that this Velcro strap is adjustable, so it's kind of hard to pull off. There we go. So you can adjust it depending on how big your head is. And then in the morning, it works the opposite way with the blue lights. The blue lights will slowly fade on, and then they will slowly fade into white. then the alarm will chime at the end of the cycle if you have set it up to actually have an alarm chime. And that's about all there is to it for actually using this. You can wash the mask if it gets dirty by taking out the electronics, which are all available inside this little slipper on the top, and then either you can spot clean it or you can run it in a light wash, although we don't recommend dry cleaning it or drying it in the dryer. So keep that in mind.
Don't melt it.
Yeah, don't
Chemically
melt the
or
thing.
heat-based.
It also comes with a case to protect it while you're traveling, and the case, it also comes with a plug and everything that you need, so all the cables, which is nice. And you can always play with the settings and resync it if it's not working for you. I did notice it worked best if you reset the mask, and there is a little reset button on the mask before trying to resync it to new times, or you might end up having the same sleep cycle from your previous syncing category on there, so it might screw you up a little bit.
Hate that.
I know, it's such a pain, but luckily I didn't have that many issues. I just hit reset and it was fine.
Okay, so the big question for me, did it help?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I'm a caffeinated person. I eat a lot of sweets, even though I shouldn't. I play on my phone at the nighttime. I am a terrible sleeper. So not as much as I hoped that it would. And it wasn't a night and day difference for me, which could be contributed to the fact that I have terrible habits whenever I go to bed. So if you do use this, along with cutting out sugar and cutting out electronics before bed and not drinking caffeine, then I think that this could drastically improve your sleeping. For me, it just improved it a very slight bit. It was hard to sleep with them on as well because I roll over on my sides and I didn't necessarily like the way that the side of the mask would hit
It's like wearing
between
ski
the pillow and
goggles
me.
in bed.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally what it felt like, except this one has a little bit more padding on the inside, which is comfortable, but you'd probably just want to sleep on your back. The Velcro strap also pulled on my hair a little bit when I was taking it off in the morning, which I did find annoying, but it's only an issue in the morning. I also wish I could change the alarm chime to something a little bit more natural because it does the little dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee. And that's the only thing you get to listen to. And I prefer an alarm that's like birds chirping or water running in a stream or something natural like that instead of dee. It's so annoying to me. The battery did last for me. The charging actually took 2 hours, so it totally did what it was supposed to do there. With that said, again, I do think that the lighting effects do improve your sleep over time. There is scientific data backing that up and everything. NASA astronauts use it. I do see improvements if I'm also steadfast about not eating snacks and staying off my phone at night, along with using this mask. But the mask was a little awkward, and I feel like I see those improvements anyways without it if I do those life improvements.
Right.
So, you know, you can do your own improvements or you can use technology to help it, but I do think that using technology can improve it if you're also following those habits.
So good
habits are good.
What she said.
Good habits are good. And lastly, of course, this is kind of bulky, so if you're a minimalist traveler, you probably don't want to take this with you necessarily because it is rather large. I do think it would be useful for people that are living near the North or South Poles, like in Alaska.
Where they have the 3-month day.
Exactly. Well, yeah, in Alaska, I was playing outside as a kid at 11 p.m. because the sun was still out, and my mom would have to yell at me to go to bed. So I think this would help people to stick with a regular schedule, or if you're like a night shift worker, you probably could use this during the daytime to block out light and to get that natural sleep pattern because that's what your body wants. It wants to go to bed at sunset and rise at the sunrise. I think it is best for people that sleep on their backs again, and it might be too bulky again for traveling. And that is about it. I think it was good, but I think that my own personal habits just need to change to really get the full effect out of something like this.
The technology could not overwhelm your personal habits.
Exactly, yeah. So let me know what you guys think and if there's any other technology out there that is sleep related, because I'm always looking for things that can help me sleep better. You can always email me, ask@tekthing.com, or you can tweet @Snubs and @PatrickNorton.
We got an email from Matt who writes in, "Hi Patrick and Shannon, I am starting my journey towards a more secure and private digital world. I've begun my migration from Gmail to Proton Mail and have recently replaced Google with DuckDuckGo in my daily life. The next milestone is my cloud storage. I'm currently a Dropbox subscriber, but would like an additional layer of security. I have a complex 24-character password and two-factor enabled authentication, but the unencrypted state of some of the data makes me a little uneasy. Any recommendations for an encrypted cloud storage solution? Love the show. You guys rock." Matt in Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Yay! Yay! Thank you, Matt. Yes, excellent questions. I actually wanted to toss over to the Dropbox privacy site where they say, for example, and there's many things in here that we could mention, but that we would be talking all day. Retention will retain information you store on our services for as long as we need to provide you the services. If you delete your account, we'll also delete this information. Please note there might be some latency in deleting this information from our servers and backup storage. We may retain this information if necessary to comply with our legal obligations, resolve disputes, or enforce our agreements. So yeah, they'll keep your data in case they need to comply with legal obligations.
Well, there's also, I don't know if anybody's actually done it, but the idea of like, you know, could an online storage service somewhere in, say, page 733 of a 900-page EULA be like, and we will scan your information so we can sell it to third-party vendors who are curious about what people store online.
You need to read those privacy guidelines because, whew, they're there.
They're there.
You can read them. All right, so I have a few different options for you, starting with number one, which I believe you recommended, BoxCryptor.
Woohoo.
I've checked out BoxCryptor before. It looks like they've updated quite a bit since the last time I checked them out, though. So BoxCryptor works with OneDrive, Google Drive, or Dropbox. All you have to do is specify a drive letter on your computer that will be just for BoxCryptor, and then you drop files in that folder to be encrypted automatically. And here's the good word, locally.
Yes.
Encrypted locally before syncing up to the cloud storage. It's really fluid to use, it's very user-friendly, and it uses AES 256. It also supports Windows, Mac, and Linux, plus it also accepts iOS and Android, which is always great. Yay! The second one is called ODrive or Zero Drive. I like to say ODrive, I think that's cute. So this one will link all of your cloud accounts together under one umbrella account via ODrive. So all you have to do is set up an encryption folder on your computer that is paired up with your account on ODrive. And you can find a bunch of information about syncing to that desktop sync over at docs.odrive.com, and I will put that in the links down below. Once you set up the encryption, you drop files in there, and then they are encrypted locally as well, and they will show up on your Dropbox account as garbled junk. So if anybody did log into your account, all they would see is different files that just look like garbled junk. Yeah, gibberish. It uses AES 256 as well, nice. And they are a zero knowledge policy, which is excellent, and it's also free, which is always great. And unfortunately, though, it is not available on mobile.
Okay.
I should also probably mention that it's for Windows and Mac, but they don't have a Linux version except for Linux command line version as well. So keep that in mind. The next one is called Sookasa, and this one is more for somebody that runs a business or if you're a professional and you need some kind of backup plan for that. So Sookasa is over at sookasa.com. It's $10 a month and it is HIPAA compliant, but it also uses AES 256. So this one offers a bunch of additional perks like expiring encryption keys for folks that you share files with, so they can only get to them for a allotted amount of time. I've actually seen tax accountants use this, which is kind of interesting. They also support OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, and a few others, and they have a page dedicated to explaining how to set up encryption for a Dropbox folder. And their tutorial is actually, it looks quite easy to set up. It also works with Mac, Windows, Android, and iOS. There is no Linux version. Now, my personal favorite is to just completely move off of Dropbox and use a zero knowledge provider that does all the encryption locally for you that you don't have to worry about, so you don't have to download a secondary thing to use Dropbox.
Well, when you say SpiderOak does the encryption locally, you mean they do it on their servers, or is it done on your desktop before it crosses the internet?
SpiderOak does it locally on your computer.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the best part ever. They're a zero knowledge provider as well, which is great. I've been using SpiderOak for a long time. They're available on Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS, and everything is encrypted locally via that app. They do have pricing plans. You can set up a free trial, but the pricing plans are 100 gigs for $5 per month, 250 gigs for $9 per month, and 1,000 gigs for $12 per month. I got lucky. I was already paying previously, and then I got an email that said, we're having a sale for $150 $49 or something, you get unlimited storage per year. And I was like, okay, done. So I get unlimited and I have like 2 terabytes saved in there. So
nice.
For $150, not bad. So yeah, those are my options for you. I think the one that you chose would probably work very well for you, but if you want to get completely off of Dropbox like I have, SpiderOak's an excellent option and one I highly recommend.
Yeah, you need, with all these encryption options, somebody like the NSA is going to have to be really pissed at you to get at that data.
They would.
Just saying. We love your emails, people. Keep sending them to ask@TekThing.com. And hey, if you want to be part of the crew that makes TekThing possible, please contribute to the show at patreon.com/TekThing. $1 an episode would be killer and get you access to our new patron-only build videos. $5 get your name in the weekly video, and $10 get you an invite to our monthly patron-only hangout with Shannon and I. Thank you so much for supporting TekThing, no matter how you do it.
We got an email from Rick E. who wrote ask@TekThing.com. He says, do you have any suggestions for an inexpensive USB 3 hub? I need 4 ports minimum, AC powered, and about a 6-foot cord to reach my desktop. Also, are there any issues I should know about with USB hubs? Any game latency if I have 1 or more connected to the hub? Any problems if I have a microphone, a gamepad, a hard drive, and my phone all connected at once?
Well, in theory, the whole point of a USB hub is to allow you to have a whole bunch of stuff connected simultaneously.
Right.
I feel like I have had issues at various points with, like, having PCIe lane issues with having too many ports, but the biggest issue with USB 3.0 is that USB 3.0 can emit RF that's tough on some 2.4 gigahertz wireless gear.
Can I rip off the plastic?
It makes you so happy. I can never say no. You'll want external power, which you're already looking for, to make sure you can power up all your gear. A lot of USB 3.0 hubs don't actually deliver the amount of power you think they will deliver, so make sure it delivers the rated power, and comes the power supply that can deliver the rated power, at least if you want power to all the ports, and you should. Latency shouldn't be an issue with the gamepad, but you're going to have to test your gamepad and your games on your machine because your mileage will always vary.
Yes, it will.
Oh my goodness. I've been using an Anker 10-port USB 3 hub for a long time. $40 on Amazon, 7 USB 3.0 ports, 3 dedicated 2.1 amp charging ports so your phone doesn't try to mate with your desktop if you don't want it to. It only comes with a 3-foot USB cable, so you'll need to buy a longer Type A to Type B USB 3 cable if you really need a 6-foot cable. But other than that, you should be good to go.
I'm using the same one, and I haven't seen any kind of latency issues with it so far, but it is pretty new, so I'll keep an eye on that.
I've had this for at least a year, maybe. I feel
really?
like I've had this closing.
I've only had mine a few months, but so far so good.
I built the S4 mini case with a tiny motherboard, and it only has 3 USB 3 ports. Oh. So I needed more.
That's pretty much the issue I was running into with my laptop.
Oh my goodness. So we were talking about ping and traceroute and MTR last week, and I have to remove this because it's driving me insane.
Sorry.
Which brought us to an email from Mark, who says, "Hi Shannon and Patrick, just to follow on comment to your piece on network trace and speed analysis for determining bottlenecks. One possible, non-obvious cause of network slowdowns is that you have 2 different and not equal routes from your PC to the net.
What?
How? For example, if you have both Wi-Fi and a hardline Ethernet connection active, you could send out packets on one interface and get them back maybe much later on the other one. It all depends on how your routers are set up to deal with the packets in each direction and what routes are preferred by the routing protocols. Long ago, I used to be a sysadmin for a work group that had multiple connections to the net, and those were incorrectly configured when I arrived. This resulted in connections that were often glacially slow and sometimes non-existent. It took several days to isolate and fix the issue, with the electronic equivalent of stone axes and flint spears walking uphill in both directions. I never leave multiple connections to my PC active now. Smarter laptops will auto-switch, but some machines force you to manually enable or disable the Wi-Fi or Ethernet. I always make sure I only have one route active. Cheers, Mark."
That's a really good point, and one that I totally should have noticed, because I had an old laptop where I would have to switch back and forth because I would get issues.
Issues.
But it was Linux, so of course.
You just upgraded to Ubuntu 14.something.7?
17.04, hence why I'm having these gigantic menus up here. That's, yeah.
Thought something looked different.
Yep.
In any case, Mark, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, one more idea. For the many reasons the internet or VPN connection might be painfully slow.
Yay! And you probably just saw that on my computer. We have an analog sent in by one of our viewers. So remember, once in a while, put down your phone, step away from the screen, close your laptop, and do something analog, like Jack in Denver, Colorado, who wrote, "Dear TekThing, thank you for introducing me to camelcamelcamel.com. Of course, every time you mention it, I think of the game Camel Up. I highly recommend picking up this game so you can do something analog with family and friends. My sister's family is great with family game night. They have tried dozens of different games and are able to pick up the good ones from the bad ones. This turned out to be a great board game. I recommend getting this game for the family or for the office to play during downtime. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Pretty quick, you'll end up with Camel, Camel, Camel in the game. That will explain why I keep thinking of it during the show. Finally, if you feel compelled to call it Camel Cup instead of Camel Up, you're fine. In fact, I think Camel Cup is the better name and still works with all of the packaging of the game. Enjoy, Jack from Denver, Colorado." This is so cute. I feel like I need to pick this up. I think this would be perfect, especially for the younger generations that seem to hang out sometimes. It's cute.
It is cute. Well, actually, we've been acquiring board games at our house. Cards Against Humanity, is that the favorite game at your house?
Ooh, actually.
Not a child-friendly game, but a delightful one.
Not at all.
I like seeing how far I can make people do spit takes. Usually, I will wait to time my answer until somebody has a wine glass up to their face.
Oh, that's cruel.
Yes, it is.
Great game, super fun to play with family as long as they're cool with Cards Against Humanity. One I have been recently playing, this is still being funded on Kickstarter, I highly recommend it. It's from the guys who made The Contender. It's called Action News, the game of television news. I got to play a test version of this game, and it was so much fun. I got to do some improv, and I got to do some really funny, like, British accents and stuff. It was hilarious.
Is that by?
It's by Justin Robert Young.
Oh.
Yeah, and the Contender team. Yep. So if you want to back them, I'll put their Kickstarter down there. I have funded or helped fund it myself, and I am super excited about this game. It was so fun, and I can't wait to see the final box. It's so exciting.
Yay!
Yay!
At my house, we've been playing a lot of Candyland.
Oh, fun! I love Candyland.
And Robot Turtles. If you've never seen it, Robot Turtles is the game for little programmers, and that's a favorite one around our house. You basically use cards to create programs to get your turtle to its safe haven.
Aww.
Oh my goodness.
Love it. Yay.
So much safe turtling around our house.
Yay, games! Now
Yay,
I'm gonna go play
games.
some games.
Analog games.
Analog games.
We like analog games. I'm Badger Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing.
It helps when
I talk
it does
professionally,
help.
can you tell?
You know what? When I went on my honeymoon, I didn't have, well, I had my phone on me for pictures, but I wasn't on it constantly, and I slept a lot better while I was there. It probably helped
you
that
weren't
I wasn't
reading on
like,
your phone.
yeah, I wasn't sitting in bed reading on my phone, so I think that does help.
I actually pry the laptop away from my wife and hand her her Kindle.
Oh.
Because the Kindle doesn't bombard her nearly as badly as the laptop screen does.
Because it's an e-reader.
And then she sleeps a lot better.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I can drink a pot of coffee and lay down and take a nap.
Are you serious?
I am so far
Oh,
behind
I'm jealous.
on
I
sleep.
can't do that.
I am years behind on sleep.
If I drink too much sweet tea, I have so many issues sleeping.
If I drink sweet tea made with corn syrup, I just spin around in circles and then vomit.
Oh gosh.
Well, I stopped drinking stuff with corn syrup in it, and
Yeah.
my tolerance for corn syrup is gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.